I went from strict to stricto, strict. Understand? Only person I owe is myself. Strict. Yes, people. Welcome back to my channel. Big Stricto here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, whatever it is that these other YouTubers tell you to do, but do it for me. Match preview, North London derby, Spurs versus Arsenal. Look, let's get straight into it with the supposed team news. We'll start with the home team. Spurs have, of course, Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Christian Romero in the middle with Mickey van der Ven. Apparently he's got a slight fitness test, but from what I heard today, he did train today. Destiny Udogie, Papi Sarr, Rodrigo Bentancur, that racist mother. Anyway, Brennan Johnson, Maddison, Heung-min Son. This guy, bro, all you had to do was score against City. You clown. And Dejan Kulusevski, famous Arsenal fan there. And for us, we've got Raya in goal, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, hopefully Timber. And in the middle, which is the big question, does Arteta go with Nwaneri, who's the direct supposed replacement for Odegaard, or does he stick with experience? I think he sticks with experience. He's shown that. So we'll go with Partey, Jorginho, maybe Trossard in that three there, and then possibly Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka. Tottenham have a lot of confidence. Spurs fans are so confident because they feel this is a great opportunity for them because we don't have two of our main players, two of our main structure with Rice and Odegaard. Rice, of course, suspended after that Brighton game, and Odegaard picking up an injury in a useless Nations Cup fixture. I don't understand it, but that's another subject for another day. So there's a lot of confidence with the Spurs fans, and I'm like, that you lot are setting yourself up for a very, very Spursy outcome here. Don't get it wrong. Like, Spurs are terrific side. Ange got them playing good football. Ange got the fans excited, first of all. Tottenham fans are excited at the football they're playing. But as you have seen, excitement football doesn't always necessarily equate to wins. You lost your last game playing exciting football against Newcastle, a game you should have won. You should have won. You know, a lot of my Tottenham friends won. big up Jordan. Yeah, a lot of my Tottenham friends, just the one. But yeah, you guys thought you should have won that. You played well, but as per usual, I do think Ange's style of play at times can be very, very, very naive. And I'm sure the sensible Tottenham fans will be very wary. But there's a lot of Tottenham fans who are right now sort of excited at the opportunity that they could beat Arsenal without our two main players. What does a defeat mean for Arsenal? Let's have a look here. What does a defeat mean for Arsenal? Well, a defeat means we have to then win against Man City away. That's what a defeat means. We have to. There's no two ways, or at least don't lose against Man City, because then we're still sort of in that range. But Liverpool, I think this season, from what I'm seeing, they've started good. So I think Liverpool's another team we've got to watch out for. I don't think it's just City this season. I think from what I've seen from Liverpool, they've had a really good start. They're defensively solid. Van Dijk seems to be back to his best. I know it's hard to tell because obviously they played United, and it's not really, you can't really judge them on United. Everyone beats United, you know what I'm saying? But they're looking good so far. So I think if we don't win, it just means when we go to Etihad, we have to not lose. That's just the simple mathematics of it. Because at this early stage, you don't want to be doing a catch-up. We're already doing a catch-up already. We're 2 points behind, So, yeah, so that's what that means. But also for Tottenham, what does a defeat mean for them? They lost their last game, like I said earlier, to Newcastle. And I think they've had, one win? They drew with Leicester, and I think I can't remember who else they beat. But a defeat for them, that might start putting real pressure on Ange. Because a lot of their fans wanted Mourinho out, wanted Conte out, wanted Who's the last guy? They what? Was it Nottingham Forest guy? Nuno, you know. But as you can see, sometimes that exciting football ain't. You know, you got to balance it. You know, sometimes you got to kind of win ugly. You know, it's not all the time highline and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you got, you just, got to play the game. Like, you got to play your opposition depending on who you're playing. You can't play the same way all the times. At times you have to adapt. And I feel like that's what Tottenham are struggling with. You know, this game, I feel we are going to let Spurs probably control the game in terms of possession, similar to last season where they had a lot of possession. We let them into our halves. The majority of the game was played in our half, and we just picked them off with a counter, like with the Saka goal. Havertz, long ball, broke through their lines. Saka 1-on-1 with Ben Davis. The outcome is the outcome, like we saw. So I think, if Tottenham lose, then there is going to be a lot of questions being asked about Ange, because that's 4 games, 2 defeats, 1 win and a draw, and against Arsenal as well, at home. It's almost not a nail in the coffin, but for sure a coffin nonetheless. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be a very, very difficult game for both sides. I mean, for me, listen, I think Tottenham are a very strong team, but I feel though we have our 2 main players out, I say 2 main players, but 2 big players. I don't think we really have a main player like that, because we're not just a 1-man or a 2-man team. But if you look at the team that we have, like I said earlier, you've got Gabriel at the back, you've got Saliba at the back, you've got Timber, you've got Ben White. These are our main structures anyway. And then in the middle, we've got Partey. And then our attacking line, with the addition of Raheem Sterling, may I add, with the addition of Raheem Sterling, and Tottenham fans know, this guy scores against you all the time. So I don't think it's one of those games where, like, you should feel this is your opportunity to beat Arsenal. Of course, every game you play is an opportunity to beat Arsenal. Of course, that's the mentality. But there shouldn't be one of those ones where you're like, well, yeah, this is our best chance. Because realistically, there isn't really a best chance. Unless we've got, like, what, 7 of our usual starting lineup out, then maybe you could perhaps have an argument for that. But to have Odegaard, Rice out, you got to still look at the attacking. The attacking. You still got to look at the defense. You still got to break that defense. We've seen David Raya now, who's come into that defense, who's understood his defense, understanding his assignment. He's bedded in now with Saliba and Gabriel. There's now that understanding. Because if you remember last season, at White Hart Lane, or 3 Points Lane as we call it, he was still finding his feet, and he made that error that sort of let you guys back into the game, or let Tottenham back into the game. So I think this season from last season he's carried on. He's got to know his defense, and we saw some of the saves he pulls off. He's pulling off top class saves now. And also with the addition of his footwork, which beds into how we want to play. So he's going to play a big part in how we start attack and how we stop attacks. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Listen, Heung-min Son's going to be a problem for anyone. He's going to be a problem for anyone. Ben White is going to have to be, on his game. But Ben White deals with most threats most times. He's then again, last week he did struggle against who was it? Matoma. Yeah, he did struggle a little bit against Matoma, but most people do against Matoma. And Son, but Son's lost a little bit of something, but he's still a top class player. Arguably, you can argue world class. I don't know. That's for you lot. I don't watch him week in, week out. But there's a lot Tottenham are bringing to the table, and there's a lot we have to deal with. But like I said, I'm confident in our defense. I am confident in our defense. We've won there twice in a row consecutively. We beat them last season 3-2, and then beat them the season before that 2-0. And it's not the Arsenal team with Rob Holding, with Aaron Ramsdale, as good as he was, but there is that he does have that element of making errors. So there's that and no. I remember Rob Holding, no Saliba. No Saliba. So I think, the main thing is we've got our main structure playing. Our mainstays are still there. The backbone of the team is still there. And I don't think taking Rice or Odegaard changes that. So you guys have to be wary. Now, I will say this. How was this game won or lost? Tottenham, like I said, will have a lot of possession. That's guaranteed. I think it's more so we're letting them have the possession more than them having it. So it's sort of like you come at us. It's a derby. You're at home. The fans have the expectations for you to have possession and to attack. So I think realistically we have to let you have possession and pick our moments. Make sure that when we do have the ball, we're productive with it. You don't need to have the ball all the time, but when you have it, make sure you're making things happen when you do have it. So yeah, but I think that, the game sort of, I think Tottenham always get a penalty. I think this is probably, and maybe I'm being biased here, but I feel Tottenham's best chance is always that customary penalty they get against us. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Mark my words. Come back to this. Tottenham will get a penalty. But the difference is, when do they get the penalty? Is it when we are 2-0 up, or is it when it's 0-0, or when it's what? It just depends. But I think Tottenham will get a penalty, and I think that's probably Tottenham's sort of best chance. And it depends what kind of penalty it is. Is it a red carded penalty or whatever? But I feel like, honestly, it feels like it feels like I'm being harsh, but I truly believe that's really their best opportunity. Set pieces now. On our end, especially last season, we was great with the set pieces. And unfortunately, there's no Declan Rice to swing in our corners. But we still have, we still got the big men. All it needs is the right delivery. We've got your Salibas, you've got your Gabriels, you've got your Parteys, whatever. Like, we're still good on set pieces. And Tottenham last season were shambolic. So we'll wait to see if they've fixed their set pieces defence, whether it's something they've worked on. But definitely, for going on last season, they were absolutely pants. They were absolutely pants. So I feel like, I think it will be one in those sort of things, like the set pieces, your penalties and so on. So that being said, my score prediction, should I say? Like I said, I thought Spurs will get a penalty for sure. I didn't even factor whether Raya will save a penalty, because Raya saved the penalty against West Ham at the Emirates when Declan Rice gave away that penalty. So you never know, they might have a penalty and Raya might save it. Who knows? But for sure, I think Tottenham score. I think they do. I think we score. I think we got a lot of firepower. Sterling, who's on the bench, who again, it's a London derby. The boy wants to prove himself. I'm sure that international break has even put more fire under his belly, because I'm sure he's waiting. He can't wait to get a game, So I think this might also be a perfect game for him. I don't think he starts, but if he comes on, I think it's going to be problems for Spurs. It's going to be problems for Spurs. Udogie versus Saka. Woof. Yeah, Udogie dealt with him. I can't remember what game it was, but Udogie did kind of keep Saka quiet. But can he do it again? That's the big one. But match predictions. 3-1. 3-1 Arsenal. 3-1 Arsenal. Penalty Spurs. Song probably scores that. And then our scorers will be Trossard, Havertz, Saka. No. Let me take that back. Gabriel, Magalhaes, Trossard, and Saka. 3-1. So yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Leave your comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you think the game's going to go. Leave your match predictions, score predictions in the comments. Let's go. Come on, you Arsenal. Come on.